والمرسلين وأعز المرسلين حبيب إله العالمين أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المنتجبين، سيما بقية الله روحي وأرواح العالمين له الفداء. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا، حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا. قال الله الحكيم في محكم كتابه الكريم: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن في خلق السماوات والأرض واختلاف الليل والنهار لآيات لأولي الألباب الذين يذكرون الله قياما وقعودا وعلى جنوبهم ويتفكرون في خلق السماوات والأرض ربنا ما خلقت هذا باطلا سبحانك فقنا عذاب النار. آمنا بالله صدق الله العلي العظيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. Dear mu'mineen and mu'minat, brothers and sisters, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. A very different discussion I would like to have tonight, inshallah, and it's a question of the relationship between the concept of meditation and tafakkur as we know it in the Holy Quran. Often we are told of the importance of meditation, and nowadays there's a lot of talk about it because of all the problems that the society is facing: lack of faith, materialism, indulgence in so much of the material things in this life has led people to have, in fact, many issues, and the speed of, or the way this rat race, as they call it, the way how fast life is and how busy our life schedules are, has led to a situation where people don't have the time to actually sit and have time for themselves, to just have take a minute to breathe. In fact, some of the gadgets that nowadays are out there in the market, watches and so on, they would give you schedules to breathe, or you can download apps on your phone that gives you reminders that you need to sit and breathe, take some deep breath. Certain things that we would take for granted or not even think, or it wouldn't even cross our minds that we need to actually do that. And we find that it has become more and more common. So my question is, what is the relationship between meditation and reflection as we know it in the Holy Quran, or ibadah as we are prescribed in Islam, in our religion? Is there a relationship to start with? So just a bit of definition, so we have some definitions, so we have a good understanding of the issue. Number one, what is the definition of tafakkur, which I translated as reflection? And what is the definition of meditation? Or what kind of meditation am I referring to in my discussion, so that we are clear? The kind of meditation I'm referring to in my discussion is what often they call it self-reflection. So understanding ourselves better. Often they tell you, it's important to sometime take time and simply reflect. Do what they call self-reflection meditation. Reflect on yourself. Recognize yourself. Recognize your thoughts. Recognize your feelings. Recognize your values, your beliefs, who you are. They often tell you that you need to reflect on these things as a process of what they call self-reflection, which is in itself a very effective, in fact, meditation or type of meditation. So what is that self-reflection in relation to the tafakkur? Reflection in the Holy Quran has come in many ayat, in fact. وَيَتَفَكَّرُونَ or لِقَوْمٍ آيَاتٍ لِقَوْمٍ يَتَفَكَّرُونَ and so on. This concept of tafakkur. In one hadith, tafakkur is considered more significant or more important than 70 years of worshipping. Sa'atu tafakkur, and sa'a in Arabic does not mean 1 hour. Yes, in the modern Arabic, sa'a is 1 hour. But back in the days, sa'a did not mean 60 minutes. It meant a period of time. Okay, so sitting between you and yourself and reflecting. A period of time to sit and reflect is better than 70 years of worshipping. 70 عام عبادة. You spend 70 years worshipping, or you sit for minutes or an hour or so, more or less, and reflect. This, in fact, is better than. The reflection is better. What kind of tafakkur? To think about what? Examples of tafakkur are given in the Holy Quran. One of the examples, in fact, is what I began my discussion with from Surah Al-Imran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the ayah 190 and ayah 191, He says, in fact, there is a little more on this subject in the ayat before and after. However, these two ayat that I recited, we need to reflect on them and see what reflection means. He says, إِنَّ فِي خَلْقِ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. Indeed, or surely in the creation of the heavens and the earth, and also the coming of the day and night one after the other. وَاخْتِلَافِ اللَّيْلِ وَالنَّهَارِ لَآيَاتٍ لِأُولِي الْأَلْبَابِ. There are signs. In these things there are signs for those with lub, albab, those with intellect, those who have who look at things deeply. They don't just see things and go on with their lives, ignoring the depth and the source of those things, the importance, the significance of those things, and so on. Those are the ones, الَّذِينَ. Who are ulul albab? They are described. الَّذِينَ يَذْكُرُونَ اللَّهَ قِيَامًا وَقُعُودًا. They remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala standing and sitting. And وَعَلَى جُنُوبِهِمْ, and whilst laying down. So it is not referring to the time of salat, because we don't pray unless one is sick. We don't pray laying down. So the ayah is saying they always do the dhikr, not limited to their salat. الَّذِينَ يَذْكُرُونَ اللَّهَ قِيَامًا وَقُعُودًا وَعَلَى جُنُوبِهِمْ. And what else? وَيَتَفَكَّرُونَ. And they reflect. وَيَتَفَكَّرُونَ فِي خَلْقِ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. They reflect on the creation of the heavens and the earth. And they say, رَبَّنَا مَا خَلَقْتَ هَذَا بَاطِلًا سُبْحَانَكَ فَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ. Through their reflection, they realize the majesty and the greatness and the glory of the Creator. So they say, O Lord, you have not created this in vain. for no reason. Glory belongs to you. Protect us from the hellfire, from the torment of hell. This, in fact, this ayah tells us very well that tafakkur is to understand the source of everything, the creation. وَيَتَفَكَّرُونَ فِي خَلْقِ السَّمَاوَاتِ. They look at something, where did it come from? Imam Ali alayhi salam, he says, God has mercy on those who know where from, where in, and where to. Rahimallahu mru'in. After he says, أَعَدَّ لِغَمْسِهِ وَاسْتَعَدَّ لِرَمْسِهِ وَعَلِمَ مِنْ أَيْنَ وَفِي أَيْنَ وَإِلَىٰ أَيْنَ. And he knows where from, where in, and where to. The source. Where did we come from? رَبَّنَا مَا خَلَقْتَ هَذَا بَاطِلًا. Oh Allah, you did not create it for no reason. All these things that you created, the heavens, the earth, humans, animals, plants, all of these things that you have created, you didn't create it for no reason. God does not do anything batil. Everything has a purpose. There is wisdom in everything. So they think about it. They think about the source being the Lord, the Creator. They realize that this cannot come through an accident. The more science advances, the more they realize that it cannot come through an accident. It simply cannot. There is, basically, it is impossible for the chain of basically the odds, as they say. You know, the things that could have gone in 100 different directions and they go in one and then lines up with the next one. And all of these ones lining up together, an assumption that is impossible for the existence to happen, for life to exist, and so on. It just cannot happen. رَبَّنَا مَا خَلَقْتَ هَذَا بَاطِلًا. You have a reason. فِي أَيْنَ. Why? They realize why we are here. They reflect on these things. They reflect on the mabda, where they came from, the beginning. They reflect on the present time. Why? Ya Allah, you created this. Why did you create it? You created me. Why did you create me? What is my purpose in life? What is my goal in life? This tafakkur is better than 70 years of ibadah. This tafakkur. Why? Because it makes ibadah meaningful. Without it, ibadah could be very shallow. The more we think, our ibadah becomes deeper. Our dhikr becomes deeper. There's more essence, more value to our ibadah, to our service. The way we live life would become different. I was sharing earlier with one of the brothers. If we do tafakkur and reflect and set certain principles, why do we get married, for example? A simple thing. Why did God create us in pairs? وَخَلَقْنَاكُمْ أَزْوَاجًا. Why did He create us in this way? Why didn't He make us reproduce through splitting? You know, division. That once I'm mature, I can split into two and there will be me and my second half. Now my second half, or my better half as they call it, cannot be a splitting thing. We have to get married to have that, yes? Why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala create us in this way? He could have made us in a different way. Do we think of the purpose? Why did He وَخَلَقْنَاكُمْ أَزْوَاجًا? Why? If we think, we would recognize the purpose of marriage. The way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants it, not the way we think about it. He has put in us the desire so that we do get married, so that we do continue. But that is not the purpose. لِتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهَا, for example, He gives us. This is tafakkur, makes marriage different. Out of a sudden, marriage goes from a very shallow relationship to a divine relationship. يتفكرون. Everything elevates through tafakkur. We reflect on the creation. And the beauty of the way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to reflect, back to the meditation, they speak of self-reflection. We have this from Imam Amirul Mu'mineen salawatullah wa salamu alayhi, also from Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. The famous hadith that man arafa nafsah faqad arafa rabbah. Know yourself, you will know your creator. Man arafa nafsah. We need to know ourselves. Who am I? I'm a collection of thoughts, for example, beliefs, feelings. Do I even recognize myself? Do I recognize my thoughts? Do I recognize my feelings? You know, part of the way, and I've discussed this, if we want to have a better control on ourselves, we should know ourselves. If I think and reflect on if I have a control on my thoughts and my reflection, I can have control on my feelings and emotions, which in fact, it translates into my actions and reactions. So I can control it all, and we discussed this last week. I can control it all through the thoughts, reflection. Again, that reflection that makes me recognize myself. And if I recognize myself well, I will recognize my Creator. This is tafakkur. This is the significance of tafakkur. Out of a sudden, we go into a different... In fact, through tafakkur, we can resolve many, many issues that today people are suffering from. Stressful situations, sit and do tafakkur. Get out of the situation. You know, often, and the best problem solvers are those who can actually, they master this characteristic of being able to get out of the situation. There's a problem, you're in the middle of the problem. It's almost impossible to resolve it because you're part of the problem. You get out of the situation and you have better control, better understanding of everything, better control, and out of a sudden you come up with solutions outside the box. You know, they often tell you think outside the box. That can happen through reflection. If we don't do reflection, if we are impulsive, if we're constantly acting on how we learned and how we've done things all our lives, including our ibadah, including the prayers and our, daily prayers, ibadah, worship, if it's only the things that we've always done and we're continuously doing it habitually, there's no reflection in it, we are not elevating. We're not getting at and watching ourselves, in fact, and watching the entire situation that we're in so that we can elevate. Through tafakkur we can. And that is why tafakkur is better than 70 years of ibadah. 70 years of ibadah, you say, yes. An example of that, and I shared this hadith with some mu'mineen. There's a hadith that says, in fact, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad, shared with the believers, and Abu Dharr is the narrator. He says that the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam told us about studying, seeking knowledge, which is to improve the way we think, in fact. Improve our understanding of the world around us. That's what seeking knowledge is all about. He says an hour of seeking knowledge is better. He goes stage by stage. He says better than jihad, better than ibadah of 1 year, better, and then he says better than recitation the entire Quran alfa marra. 1,000,000 times you recite the Quran. Obviously it's recitation without reflection, one with and one without. Reflection and seeking knowledge and studying is more important than that. Why? Because it betters our understanding of everything around us. This is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us the intellect for, so that we can reflect. In fact, this is what distinguishes us from other creatures that He has created. And He says, وَفَضَّلْنَاهُمْ عَلَى كَثِيرٍ مِّمَّنْ خَلَقْنَا تَفْضِيلًا. We made Bani Adam better than many of what we have created, so much better than many things. Why? Through the intellect that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us, so that we can reflect. My brothers and sisters, all of these things that they discuss nowadays in terms of meditation and so on is prescribed to us through the Prophet and Ahlul Bayt in very simple terms and simple processes in our acts of ibadah and tafakkur in that ibadah, tadabbur. لا خير في قراءة لا تدبر فيها. That is part of it. To reflect, to have that time for ourselves, seclusion. You know the significance of Salatul Layl? One of the most beautiful things about Salatul Layl is that time of complete silence, seclusion, and at the same time, the darkness. All of these things put together, you know, they speak of, when you go and read about meditation and you'll find the similarities. Seclusion, silence, darkness, and in the dua we say, "Oh Allah, namat uyunun nas." The eyes of the people have gone to sleep, and I'm here talking to you, communicating with you, seeking your guidance. This is the reflection that will take us to a different world altogether. And this is, in fact, the best form of meditation. This is what Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, did even before he was appointed and before he got the appointment of the Risala, of the message of Islam. He constantly went into seclusion, into the cave, no one around, silence, away from the people, and invoke and speak, communicate, reflect, which made him who he became. And this is available, my brothers and sisters. We are the ones who limit ourselves. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not create us limited. He did not put the limits for us. He did not give. If He did, there would be an element of injustice. If He favored the Prophet in the sense that He gave him certain things that He did not give us, and made him, or gave us limits that He did not give him, there will be an element of injustice. No, it is Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that took advantage, him and his progeny and anbiya and awsiya and awliya, they took advantage of what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made available to all of us. This is the hidayah that is available for all of us, through reflection, through seeking knowledge and reflection, and taking advantage of those prescriptions, in fact, that have been given to us by the Prophet and his progeny, salawatullah wa salamu alayhim ajma'een. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide us to understand the treasure that we have, the Islam and the treasure of Ahlul Bayt, the Prophet and his progeny, the teachings that we have, that in fact we can be teachers to the rest of the world. We can be examples. This is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Holy Quran that He has made the Prophet a witness and made us the witnesses for the rest of the people. أمة وسطا لتكونوا شهداء على الناس ويكون الرسول عليكم شهيدا. We ask him to make us the good examples for the human beings, humanity around us, good examples following the example of their Prophet and his progeny salawatullah wa salamu alayhim ajma'een. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. If there are any questions, short few minutes. No questions? If not, we'll conclude inshallah. No question. Okay, inshallah we'll conclude with the recitation of Surah Al-Mubarakat Al-Fatiha for all marhumeen, especially the marhumeen of those who prepared for these majalis, for these gatherings, and those who are present with us, our marhumeen, your marhumeen, all our marhumeen of mu'mineen and mu'minat. We send them the rewards of Surah Al-Mubarakat Al-Fatiha ma'a as-salat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Bismillah.